How's it going, guys? Today we are going to be talking about a rules-based trading strategy. What is a rules-based trading strategy? It is basically something like this. It's a flow chart that has like if and scenarios. In this case, it's a real basic version. You just kind of follow it down the chart. If this happens, then you move to the next little bubble, right? More advanced flow charts can have multiple rule sets and multiple different branches. But for this example that we're providing, it's just based off of a support and resistance, real basic one. And hopefully you can kind of create your own after this for your own strategy that you have. Now, a rules-based trading strategy is going to help increase your profitability tenfold if it's for a working strategy. It helps keep you disciplined because you don't move down to the next bubble unless the top bubble happens. So let's kind of get into this so you can see some examples. So for this one that we created, we are in a support or we are in a resistance. So if we go to our chart here, we want to wait until price is in a support or a resistance. So let's just go ahead and mark a support and a resistance here. So we have a resistance there and a support down here. And we can go ahead and color coordinate these two. We're going to make the resistance red and the support green. Okay, so if we are in a support, we're going to wait for a bullish engulfing with a top wick. All right, so once price enters a support or a resistance, we're going to decide what side of the flow chart to move on. So looking at the chart here, if we are, go ahead and make this two-sided here, just like that. And move that there. All right, so with this example, on the left-hand side, we see, let's just start from the bottom. We see that price is in a support, right? All right, so we're in a support. Let's move down to the next bubble. We're going to wait for a bullish engulfing with a top wick, okay? So if we zoom on in, we see that we do have a bullish engulfing here with a top wick. Very small top wick, but it is there. So if that happens, then we just move on to the next bubble. If it doesn't happen, then we just cank that strategy, cank this flow chart, and wait till the next opportunity. So we do have a bullish engulfing with the top wick. Since we do have that, we're going to wait for the next candle to break the top wick of the engulfing candle. So this next candle is bullish, and it did break the top wick of that engulfing candle. Since that did happen, that would be our entry reason. So we would go ahead and enter a buying position along here as soon as it breaks the top wick of that bullish engulfing. So once it does, we're just going to go ahead and make our entry tool right there. All right. So we would click buy, and then we would set our stop loss and take profit. So our stop loss is going to be below the entry candle wick. Okay, so our entry candle is the one immediately to the left of this position tool. So it's going to be this one. Go ahead and put an arrow. That is our entry candle right there. Okay, so our stop loss is below the entry candle wick, like so. And then our take profit is going to be 2 to 3 times the stop loss, because we always want to make sure that we have a 2 to 1 or a 3 to 1 risk reward ratio. And that is just meaning we can lose more than we win, because when we win more than we lose, if that makes sense. Okay. So our stop loss is 80. So we're just going to make our take profit 160, roughly like that. Okay. And that would have been a successful trade. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. All right, so price came up. If we were just going off of the left and not the right, if we're just following it, price came up to a resistance right here. Okay, and we see price did create a bearish engulfing candle right there with the bottom wick. Okay, so we are in a resistance here, and we formed a bearish engulfing with a bottom wick. All right, cool. Rules check out. What's next? Next candle breaks the bottom wick of the engulfing candle. Well, in this case, the next candle, which is this green one here, that did not break the bottom wick of that bearish engulfing candle, clearly, right? So since it didn't do that, our rules tell us, hey, we're not going to enter, right? Now, if you want to make the flow chart like a lot more visual, you could put if then. So if we're in a resistance, then, and then you would put like a then bubble with some lines, okay? And then you, for like this example, next candle broke bottom wick of engulfing. You could put yes, no. If no, then don't trade. If yes, then move to like the next rule, right? So in this case, it did not break the bottom wick, so we're not going to take a trade, okay? So if we extend this out, okay, this now becomes a support. So we're going to go ahead and mark that green. All right, price comes up, and it did enter a resistance up here. Just gonna mark that red. And we did form a bearish engulfing candle right here. Okay, so we're in a resistance. We formed a bearish engulfing candle with the bottom wick. Check, check. Okay, next candle broke bottom wick of engulfing. All right. So did this candle break the bottom wick of this engulfing? Yes, it did. Okay, since it did, we're going to enter a short position as soon as it breaks that bottom wick, just like that. Stop loss is above entry candle wick. Okay, so we're going to move our stop loss above the entry candle wick right there. All right, so it's 114, so we'll just round it to 200 to make it real easy. Oh, it actually gives us a risk reward ratio right there. All right, perfect. So it looks like we would have hit the take profit before we hit the stop loss. So that's a win right there. All right, so moving on. Moving to the right, we see another resistance being formed right here. No engulfing candle though. No engulfing candles. And this one is not technically in the support. Okay, all right, so we enter the support right here. Again, all right, to the flow chart, we are in a support. Check. Did we form a bullish engulfing with top wick? Yes, we did. We formed a bullish engulfing candle right there. It does have a top wick. Next candle breaks above top engulfing wick. Okay, so did this candle break above the top wick of the engulfing candle? Yes, it did. Okay, so we're going to move a long position right there. Stop loss is below entry candle wick. Okay, so we are going to move our stop loss below the entry candle wick right there. And then we are going to make sure we have a 2-to-1 risk reward all the way right there. Okay. So it looks like this one would have been a win as well. All right. We actually would have had a little bit of drawdown right there, but ended up shooting back up. All right. So we're going to continue on here. This one technically isn't in a defined resistance, so we won't count that. So like it would be a win still, but we're not going to count it. All right, so this would be a support right here. So price comes down into a support. Okay, we're in a support, forming bullish engulfing with a top wick. This is a bullish engulfing with the top wick. All right, so we're going to move down. Next candle breaks top wick of engulfing. Did this candle break the top wick of that engulfing candle? Yes, it did. So we're going to get our long position tool out, enter a trade. Stop loss is going to be below the entry candle wick, like so, and then take profit 2-to-1, just like that. So as you guys can see here, following a rules-based strategy system makes things really easy. It takes the guessing out of it. It tells you exactly when to enter, what to look for, when to exit, and it's an if-then rule set. So if this happens, then you'll do this. If this doesn't happen, then you don't do that, right? this is this is a really basic example of a flow chart and like a rules based system. Like I said, you could add yes, okay, like yeses and nos underneath these. If we're in a support, yes, move to the next box. If no, then you just don't trade, right? You can easily make one of these on a Google Drive. So you're going to go to like a Google Doc and then insert drawing, and then you can make this flow chart on a Google document drawing tool. And then you can print it off, put it in front of your computer where you trade at, and just follow that system. It takes the guessing out of it, keeps you disciplined, and it can make you a lot more profitable trader, increase your win rate. And yeah, so with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.